Hello and welcome to episode 156 of Nolo Time. My name is Obed, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young, and the stream looks terrible.
Oh no. Also, you said episode 156. I'm pretty sure this is episode 157.
It's it. What? I don't know, Joel. It's been a long 72 hours.
It has. What year is this, Obed?
I don't know. Help
This
me.
that's
Here's my cry
it's
for
like we're
help.
laughing and it's
Help
true at the same
me.
time.
It's like a laugh cry of
Yeah.
sorts. Yeah.
Like,
All right, here we go.
yeah. All right, cool.
I'm gonna try and fix the stream while you entertain, sir. What is
Well,
happening, Joel? How are you, man?
I mean, I'm doing great, my friend. I mean, aside from being exhausted in multiple facets, I'm alive. So am I really exhausted? I try not to use that word too much, honestly, Obed. This is a side note. People use the word exhausted loosely. Like I'd be exhausted if I was like in a third world country where, I had to walk miles for water. I'm very fatigued and tired. But
Fatigued.
I'm alive. No, but with all that being said, guys, the reason I say that I'm doing well is because regardless of whatever could be going on in your lives, I'm excited for the PlayStation 5. We are literally 1 week away, Mr. Obed.
Yep.
And with that, I am anticipating this time next week we'll be recording again, and I will have already had a hands-on impression with the console that no one has seen, except unless you're a media person. Uh, no one has laid hands on except you're a media person. We would have loved to have gotten one of those kits, Sony. Maybe next time. And 10 years from now, when you release PlayStation 6, you can hit us up.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm very excited. But with that being said, I mentioned this to you. I've not even opened this, but I got this delivered today. They're shipping out accessories ahead of time. One of the things I was able to get my hands on was this guy. If you're watching on video, the Pulse 3D headset. It's here. Turn around the
There you
sides
go.
and focus. Cool.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very
3D.
nice.
That's probably backwards is on video. But anyways, well, actually no, I think it mirrors on the stream. I'm actually gonna open this up live while we're on here right now.
There you go. A live unboxing, first time.
Live unboxing, guys.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
happening.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'll be trying to fix the stream here while Joel entertains you with the headset unboxing.
Absolutely. So on the front here, obviously has this lovely picture, like I was just showing you guys. Pulse 3D headset on the side, 3D fine-tuned for 3D audio on PS5 consoles. Nice little message. Surround yourself in 3D soundscapes where you can sense sounds above, below, and all around you. I love the sensory messagery behind this. The sense, dual sense.
Yep.
Handset. It's all about your senses. It's not necessarily gonna feel like you're in these things, but it's gonna sense like you are, right? Oh, you're fixed it.
I
Good.
fixed it.
It's fixed. It looks better.
Oh,
On the back
it was
here.
I'm a perfectionist. This is gonna throw me off, and I can't do it. So
No, I appreciate that. See, we do it right on Nolo.
yeah.
I got on the back here how games are made to sound, dual hidden microphones, built-in rechargeable battery, easy to access control. Okay, it's time to rip this guy open. If I can get to the tape.
Excited, Joel.
It's exciting,
See
man.
what you got. Show me what you got.
All right, cutting this. Good thing I had this actually knife handy here. Okay. Opening the top. Put this knife down. It's a nice box. Opening the top here. We'll flap up. Okay. Oh, take off some plastic, excuse me. It's a
Instruction manual.
instruction manual on how to get those 3D senses. Where the microphone, monitor, chat, USB-C hub, mute sound, power switch, all this good stuff. Okay, cool. Papers. We're not here for that. We're here for this guy. Woo! It's beautiful. Wow. There it is.
Nice.
There it is, guys.
Okay.
Pulse 3D headset.
So the ear cups look very similar to the revised gold. They actually look wider. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a lot. It looks actually in my hands. It looks a lot bigger than what I expected, which is good.
Okay.
Like if you look in comparison right now with what I got on,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
much larger
It's a
cup.
much lighter driver. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. They look comfortable. They
Left
they
and
look
right.
really lightweight too.
They feel lightweight.
Okay.
It feels a lot lighter than my gold.
Okay. Because these ones that I have right now, the HyperX Cloud, they're hefty. I mean, they're metal and they sound great. But yeah.
I like the depth right there
Yeah, it's
on the
probably
other.
because of the 3D. The way they talked about the how the ear cup kind of like adjusts to your ear shape or whatever. Mark Cerny
Yeah,
was talking about that one time. Yeah.
get your little buttons right here.
Okay. Cool. Very similar to the
Little port
uh
power. Cool. I'm gonna put it on. Show you guys
nice.
what it looks like.
Cool. Do it.
By the way, I can't hear anything once I take this off. Ooh, yeah. Let's go. All right, I'm ready to play this thing, dude.
Oh, there you go. Dropped it on day one.
It- on the
Rage,
box. On
rage,
the box.
rage quit.
It's only $99.
Joe just rage quit his
People are
headset.
people over here like fighting on the internet trying to find it where they could order these and
Yeah,
drop them. No,
nice. That's
yeah,
awesome,
that's
man.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a good set. Like, it also comes with the cabling in here, so with the charger you got in here.
Sweet.
Yeah, so live unboxing first on No Load Time.
There you go.
USB-C and also the
Oh, how about the dongle? Is it gigantic or is it?
here's the other
Oh, that's just
3.5
a.
millimeter,
Yep.
and then here's the dongle small. Wow.
Okay, so that looks like exactly like the gold dongle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does not say PS5 on
So
it, DualSense on it, just has this is PlayStation logo.
so Joe, I heard that those headsets actually work on the Switch when docked.
I heard the same thing.
So there you go, man. You can use them as Switch headsets.
I love my Switch, man. I'll gladly
Yeah.
jump between that and PS5.
Get
Man, I'm psyched.
get
Man, I'm
get that Breath of the Wild and get the whole like wild experience and whatnot.
That's the thing, right? So like in general, they're engineering this to give you just a great gaming sound experience. But I can't wait to see what games take advantage of this kind of tech. You know,
Yeah.
what games are going to give you that real 3D? You know, like we talk about like those horror games or something where
Yeah.
someone's walking behind you and you hear the footsteps.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a game here that we'll talk about when we
Okay.
go through our games of the generation. That basically was part of the game of the whole thing. So, cool. That's good, man. Joe, before we jump into the games of the generation for I don't know 10 minutes or so, do you want to talk about season 2, episode 1 of the Mandalorian? And be warned. Spoiler alert, because we're gonna go into deep spoilers.
Deep spoilers. We have to. I mean, come on, guys. And we're not even guilty of this, Obed.
Yeah.
Like you could. I'm looking at places like Screen Rant, all these other major
Yep.
sites, and they're like full blown tweeting out like, "Hey, this is how this person."
This is,
I'm like,
dude,
and it's like Wednesday.
no respect. Yeah,
It's like literally Wednesday.
that's why
dude.
on
I'm like,
Friday. That's why Friday mornings I'll watch it in the morning before I do anything
Tomorrow.
else. Yep,
That's it.
yep.
Like, say
Yeah,
your
man.
prayers, eat your breakfast, and enjoy Star Wars.
Drink your vitamins, brother. Yeah,
You take
say
your
your prayers.
vitamins,
Take your vitamins. Say your prayers. Yeah,
Watch The Mandalorian.
watch my Lord, brother.
This is the way.
So, I mean, and we are going to answer the question that fans have been asking for over 30 years. What happened to R5 after he blew the motivator?
You all thought I was going a different way.
yeah.
That was such a great moment, dude.
Yep. That
Such
was
a great moment.
excellent.
There are so many. One of the best parts about this first episode is the massive amounts of callbacks
Yep.
to the original trilogy. I mean, you get to see the Death Star explode again. You get to see characters that are obviously, not dead. I mean, there's
Not-
there's a lot of really fun callbacks in this first episode, and it's not done in a cheeky way that a lot
No.
of people do, like it makes sense.
It's not.
They're at Tatooine.
It's not Finn rummaging through the Falcon and fighting and finding the training orb, right? It's not.
Right.
It's not like that. It's so well done. And this episode specifically had so much Star Wars lore that like a lot of casual Star and even like I don't want to say hardcore Star Wars fans, but advanced Star Wars fans may not get with like the Krayt Dragon and the Pearl and all this stuff. Um, it was excellent. It was an excellent start to the season. Yeah, I mean we get started with R5 right like right away, and you got to keep in mind that this is what 7 years after A New Hope, kinda.
Right.
You know, give or take, right? Not even. This is like 5 years after A New Hope. So yeah, R5 is running around now. They fixed the motivator. It's great attention to detail. You can see the spot where the motivator blew. It was so excellent. Um, yeah, and then of course we were talking about them going straight back to Tatooine, and he's in search of a Mandalorian that some gangster in some other planet told him, hey, there's a Mandalorian Tatooine. Turns out, you know, there's not really a Mandalorian, or is it, on Tatooine? Um, there's a scene, Joe. So Cobb Vanth, I loved him. He was great. Yeah, Tim Oliphant was awesome.
Everybody was going crazy about his character on Twitter right away. I think it mostly has to revolve around the fact that this guy, he looks for casting calls for a sheriff. Like he always is
Yeah,
playing, and the very name of the episode itself. I mean,
the
like it's
Marshal.
the Marshal. Like it's okay. It's right on point. Someone mentioned to me that when they watched this first episode, it kind of felt like something that you would usually have on some shows in the middle of a season, not the season opening
Yes.
episode.
Yep.
And I think that's interesting in a good way. That if this is how you're starting, we again, like I mentioned in our last week, like the expectations just continue to rise. But yes, Timothy, this gentleman playing the sheriff, pretty fun little tease there. To be honest with you, Obed, from a story standpoint, it was a little bit like, okay, does he really need to help this guy to get the armor? Like, you've got like a knockoff sheriff
Yeah,
wearing this guy's
that was
thing.
very video gamey, in
He,
my opinion.
yeah, like
Yeah.
let's be honest. We've just saw this guy beat up a bunch of people in the middle of a match, whatever. Take out, this guy that's from like Dothamir, whatever. All these many different great
Yeah.
creatures, right? That we see him take out, and then he's got a dude standing in armor that doesn't belong to him. And he's like, I'll earn this armor. I won't fight for it. But
Yep.
but still was fun nonetheless.
I like the attention to detail on the armor, where they showed that it was corroded from the digestive juices from the Sarlacc.
Juices.
The juices. Um, that was great attention to detail. Um, it was brought to my attention, or I learned that the that I mean we're assuming that is Jango Fett's armor. That the Boba repainted, and that's what he wore, right? I mean, we're assuming that that's what it is because Boba Fett was not really a Mandalorian, right? He kind of took the Fett name over Django, when Mace Windu did him in. so I guess like in canon, right? And I don't this doesn't. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna be brought up on the show, but in canon, his armor's not Beskar steel. Is Dura steel, and that's something that it wasn't brought up. I mean, it's a nerdy Star Wars like tidbit, right? And yeah, exactly. So that was interesting. I learned that, and that was cool. So I mean, we're not gonna go through the entire episode, but we're just gonna talk about scenes. I really love how the scene where Mando is sitting down with the Tusken Raiders is just it is so good because it humanizes the Tusken Raiders. I mean, we've known them as savages ever since Obi-Wan, ever since A New Hope. So on that scene, Joel, if you look over to the far left, the Tusken Raider that's on the far left totally looks like the guy that we see at the end of the episode. We'll talk about him later. So he was probably there because the theory is that he's been disguising himself as a Tusken Raider, just to you get around Tatooine and stay out of trouble, kinda. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked. Your first point, 100% agree with about the humanization of the Raiders. Like, I think just overall, it's very symbolic and interesting to see two different walks of people that have for a very long time not gone along for valid reasons that they don't like one another, and to see instead them being forced to work together and come together and get across their differences was very huge for Star Wars mythology, Star Wars lore.
Yep.
And if they get along, we can get along, people.
Yes.
That was a great point. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And then the second thing being your point about this guy watching. We believe that Boba is watching. But you're saying in the background here, which by the way, I did not see that reference. So that's really awesome. I'm gonna have to look for that again. That's really cool. We pointed out. But what had crossed my mind all along is the moment you see him showing up at the end, that he's there, and he knows you. There's a lot of assumptions, right? You assume that he knows that his armor was in the possession of this man. That he knows obviously now that this guy is here, Mando is here. Like, it makes you ask the question, like, well, for why for so many years did you know that your armor, all this stuff's around, and you just did you just walk away from this lifestyle? Did you, like, what's the deal? So there's a lot of great questions that I look forward to getting answers to. I don't need to make assumptions on it. I want to know what his story is, because I hope it's gonna be very different than what we expect.
Yeah, and I think we will get answers. I mean, they're not gonna be as as dumb as Duty said and not really give us answers, because we all want to know, right? Joe, there's one big detail too with the Krayt Dragon that if you have not watched the despecialized, it's crazy that you have to call it despecialized A New Hope, you would not get it. But I don't know if you noticed, but the Krayt Dragon's roar is the same sound Obi-Wan makes to scare the Tusken Raiders away from Luke,
which is why they're so scared.
And which is why they get scared and they run away, because it doesn't make it's silly, right? Without context. We're watching A New Hope. It's like, oh, that he made a sound like a really goofy sound, and then they got scared. I mean, it's super goofy on the special edition, and on the like without but now that you have the context, it's like, this is really freaking cool, man. Yep.
There's things in this episode that's going to change the way you watch A New Hope.
Yeah, this episode was lore rich. It was great. It was really, really good. I can't wait for tomorrow so we can watch that other episode, because we'll see how that goes. But it's I'm really excited. Like, Star Wars, come on. It's like, I'm excited. I always get excited. Please be excited. But at the end, we get what one can assume is Boba Fett, right? It's in Tatooine. It's Temuera Morrison. He's not aged like a clone. It's probably Boba Fett. So that was really cool. I've went back and watched YouTube, because my reaction was like just like those YouTubers that go there and reacted to it. It was like, yo, he's alive, and so that was my reaction, and to the point that I went back to look at him. It's like, it was him, right? It was him.
Yeah, to confirm.
I rewinded it.
It wasn't Rex. It wasn't. Yeah,
rewinded it, went back, and saw him. I was like, I gotta confirm this again. So I stayed for the credits, and there you go. And okay, so confirms. So that was it was great. It was great.
Very
Real,
cinematic ending. Yeah, the aspect ratio changes when you get to
yeah,
the.
very no, very Christopher Nolan. That
Yes,
that
yes.
whole aspect change.
It was very,
Uh,
very, very well done.
yeah, John
Longest
Favreau. Yeah,
episode probably of the season.
yes,
The rumors were true. That was going to be over 50 minutes long. So
yeah.
we'll see how the rest of the season is going to be.
John Favreau directed it. It
Yep.
was excellent. Visual effects were excellent. Baby Yoda was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Joe, games of the generation, but mostly PlayStation. Um, let's talk about them because that's gonna be our episode for today. Um, I'm gonna let you start. No, you know what? I'll start because I saw your list, and we have some games that overlap,
Yes.
and I have like 10 games here, and a few others.
That's cutting it short. You probably had way more than
Yeah.
that, man.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, I'll let you start, man. Go ahead.
All good, all good. I mean, I think one of the first games that early on was one of those crossover games that you played the franchise before in last gen and PS3, and you move into PS4. Remember, guys, this is gonna be PS4 games basically.
Basically,
Um, yeah, I have no other games than PS4 games on my
we
list.
said that Switch is it's not gonna be included because it's something
Yeah,
else, right?
it
I
came
mean, I can
between
talk about
gens,
Mario.
kinda.
Yeah, I can talk about Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild for hours, but
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure. One of the first games that stuck out to me, and I was I was asking myself like, why would I put this at first on the list? And I was like, you know what? No, this for sure is one of those games that it went out in a really solid way, and that's gonna be Batman Arkham Knight. I'm gonna start with that one because I think when we think games of a generation, you instantly jump to some of these really big titles. I'm not saying Batman Arkham Knight isn't, but you don't think of that as a generational, pillar.
yep,
But the reason I really think you got to take notice of this game, and if you haven't played this game, you really should, is because if you've experienced any of the games that came before it, Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, you play any of those other games, right there. There's a structure for each and every single of those games. There is a very specific layout. And I'll talk similar about this when I start talking about Assassin's Creed, right? But like when we talk about these, there are specific ways that these games are made that you are easily identifiable. It's not just another Batman game. It's clearly the Arkham series, right? And when you play the Arkham Knight game, you instantly get a genuine next generation experience. Like you put this in and you're like, oh, if you've played Arkham Asylum and you instantly then you just jump to Arkham Knight, there is such a drastic change in
yep.
this game to anything that we had seen before in the generations, and it's still true to the authenticity of the intellectual property. And I just love that they took experiences like riding in the Batmobile and the open world, and they didn't just make it with pretty graphics, but they used the hardware the right way.
Made it work.
Yeah, they made it work, using the DualShock 4 in a very, very creative way, the maps there's multiple facets to this game that I think most people would overlook just because it was just done well and say, okay, good game, pass on. But I would say that it really was one of those games of if you want to jump right into next gen, it's a great way to start early on for PS4.
That was my first PS4 game. When I bought my PS4, I bought the bundle. Yeah, that's probably in my honorable mentions. It's not one of the ones that overlaps. Just because I didn't love it as much as I did Arkham City. But I did really, really like this game a lot. I think the only downside to it is that the boss fights were really underwhelming. That was the only thing that really dragged the game down. Other than that, I find no flaws on the game. The game never crashed on me because this was a problem right back then. The game never crashed on me. It ran well. I had no technical issues. So, yeah, I agree. It's good.
Yeah, and to your point about the technical issues and whatnot, I know I didn't have them either, but I know some people did, and I think that's probably why PlayStation is putting this game as part of that PS Plus collection for PS5, simply because it's going to take advantage of the hardware. You shouldn't have any of those technical problems with this much more powerful console running this last gen game. So hopefully people will be able to experience something that was really great for PS4 on next gen if they can jump into PS5. If they haven't, if they're still on PS4, play it, guys. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, and it's or Xbox. I mean, it's out there, but it was one of those games for me that I think definitely will be remembered.
Yeah. Um, Still the first one that I have on my list, and we have a few that overlap, so I put them separate so we can talk about it together. Uh, as I mentioned, sound, sound, and that is Resident Evil 2 remake, or just Resident Evil 2 doesn't say remake on it. So this game is so good. It is so good. Resident Evil 2 was probably in the top 5 PS1 games. To be honest with you, that game is really good. This takes that same quality and just brings it up to 11, dude. This game is so fantastic. The game to me, like, it's funny because you mentioned Arkham Knight and mentioned about it being like a first big true next gen experience. If you would tell me that Resident Evil 2 is a PS5 game, I would believe you because it
Wow,
looks that good.
wow.
It looks that good. That this game is absolutely phenomenal. They really recreated Raccoon City and the Raccoon City Police Department and all the other areas that you explore on RE2, and like I said, it just takes it to 11. The voice acting is great. Just let's talk about the sound design because the sound is a character in this game. Like you have to play this game with headphones, and from the zombies moaning and groaning outside the police station, and uh, the liquors just hanging out in a corner, and you hear it hissing. The biggest thing, dude, is friggin' Mr. X, where you can hear Mr. X. Like, you could be down on the first floor of the police station and you could hear Mr. X walking above you on the floor above you. And it's just, and he freaks you out, like the stomps. And it is, man, it is an experience. Super tense, like from the beginning, you're like super tense, and it's gripping, really good, scary, a few jump scares. I mean, not scary in like a PT way, but it's just the tension, right? And then the game's dark, like you go through this dark areas, hold the flashlight. It's like it's a technical marvel, dude. Technical marvel, absolutely top notch. Highly recommend it. One of my games for the generation for sure. Yeah, like compared to RE3, the RE3 remake, like RE3 is a total letdown compared to this one.
Wow.
It's yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I love hearing that. And when you hear you saying that, like, if this would have been a PS5 games, you wouldn't be shocked. Like, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Seriously.
Well, the next one I've got, I'm jumping up quickly into games that are these probably are more games of a generation, not just PS4 games again. But we're going to talk about here Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is a game that, out of all the next gen Assassin's Creed games, this is the one that people should actually play. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, when that came out, a lot of people played that game. I played a lot of time on that game, simply between both PS3 and PS4. I actually purchased both versions. I was one of those crazy people that, because I didn't get, when I got the PS4, it wasn't within enough time of that upgrade period where you had that free upgrade. But that was one of those things that was really strange about that time,
It
that
was like
you
a
could
90
upgrade
day
with.
period, and it was super
Yeah,
weird. I remember. Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
very bizarre. So whatever. But like, that was one of those games that didn't it was very, very obviously cross-gen and was actually held back because of being a PS3 game. They couldn't go crazy with it on PS4. Then you get into games like Assassin's Creed Unity that, oh my goodness, dude, like what an ambitious game, but not a great game from a gameplay standpoint. But when you finally get to a game like Odyssey, and I'm not saying anything against Origins, like I love that one too. But when you finally get to a game like Odyssey, like this is what we were waiting for a PS4, Xbox, next generation Assassin's Creed game. It ran spectacularly. It looked beautiful, massive world. They fixed the naval warfare. They got the mechanics right. That's always been a complaint of these games. Like it's really strange. Like using, depending on which weapon you use, it actually works the way one of these real weapons. Some are heavier, some are lighter. Some you can, daggers you can use faster than you could if you're, throwing down a massive shield. Like it worked the way it was supposed to. And then one of the other really just fun things that start adding in is just the physical combat. You've got the 300 Sparta kick that you could do in the game. The epic kick was a lot of fun. Again, like I said, the naval warfare was probably one of the best that we saw at the time. They got the history to a T. It was one of those games that they didn't go too kooky and too off the rails where it starts to blend in a little too ridiculously. And I think it was one of those games that it's just generally a good game. It didn't matter. Didn't matter if it would have came out in the PS3 generation, but it came out in this next generation. What matters the more so is that because it came out in the next generation, we got a more well-defined experience, and one that people were talking about whether they were or were not fans of the franchise. And that's always important, right? Because there's a lot of people that are genre exclusive. I only play my shooters. I only play my, whatever. This was one of those games that people who don't even play this type of game were taking notice of and giving it very solid reviews all around, saying, okay, I would rather jump in. So kudos to the guys at Ubisoft for finally giving us a good one there. And we'll see Valhalla is anything like that on next gen.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I remember Black Flag when it came out. So it's weird, but it was good. It was really good. Yeah, and I heard nothing but great things about Odyssey. So one of those games that I wanted to try, couldn't find the time to fit it into my schedule, but you never know. It's always
Backwards
around.
compatibility.
Backwards compatibility. Speaking of which, due to unforeseen circumstances, I am no longer in the hunt for a PS5. So,
unless you want to gift it to Mr. Obed,
that is put on hold. So, next game I have, Joel, a game that I don't own physically, but it's probably my top 3 favorite games for the generation, and that's Streets of Rage 4.
Going right for it, dude.
Streets of Rage 4. Wow. I love Streets of Rage 4, dude. I think it's because not only the nostalgia, right? Because nostalgia is great, and it's awesome when it's done properly, which this game absolutely does. But this is what in your mind, right? Like Streets of Rage 2 is probably one of the top 5 games of the 16-bit era, because that's like,
I agree,
Final Fantasy 6 and all this stuff that came out back then, right? To recapture that sense in a modern way, it is so hard because so many games have tried it and failed. But this game goes above and beyond and gives you everything, and I absolutely love it. The graphics are great, the music is great, it plays like Streets of Rage 2. It feels like the old game in a modern setting, and that's what really brings it up for me. I have very fond memories of playing SOR2 with my friends back in the day, and this game just brings me back. It's like Pizza Hut pan pizza with pepperoni. It's like it takes me back
to
that time where, like, man, it's like Yeah, dude, it's like seriously, like whenever I want, like, if I'm gonna buy pizza, right, I usually go out of my way and go to like a fancier pizza place, right? But nothing beats going to Pizza Hut, getting a pepperoni pan pizza, and just takes me back, and it's just comfort food for me. And that's exactly what this game is. This game just takes you back to an era where games were simpler, but at the same time making that simple quote unquote gameplay and upping it to a modern play standard. I absolutely love it. I This game is fantastic. It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass. I bought it on PSN, but I'm playing it on PC too. Like I've been
It's on
back.
Switch too, I think.
It's on everything. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Absolutely love it. It has multiplayer, it has local multiplayer, it has online multiplayer, it has everything. This game has everything. It's great, man. And you know how much I love Final Fantasy 15. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, it's up there. It's up there, dude. It's great.
And I can't argue with you because I also have some fond memories in my past playing Streets of Rage. So I actually it's one of those games that I would like to go back to and actually play. I was thinking of getting it on Switch. That's why I mentioned it because I've been eyeballing it,
Yeah,
for sure. Just to have that
I
fun
I,
casual
I think it's
experience.
on sale for that Sega 60th anniversary thing that they have going on.
Oh,
So
okay.
it might be find a good deal on it.
Nice, nice. Very good, sir. Very good. Yeah, like, and that's the thing, right? Like, when we're talking about like this generation of games, you instantly can gravitate towards the real beautiful, shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we've got water that looks like you can reach out and touch it, stuff. But when we're talking about games like this, it's sometimes it's the way the games make you feel
Yeah,
that's just special. And this games like that are just so well crafted that just make you feel great. I love that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the only game I've streamed. That
Wow.
should
Yeah,
tell you something.
that's true.
Yep. Because yeah, I really really love Streets of Rage 4. I really do, man. I really do.
That's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
Yep.
Um, well, I'll jump into some of my higher topics, and then I want to get into some of the ones that cross over between you and I. So, I'm gonna jump into Uncharted. You knew it was coming, guys. Uncharted 4: Thief's End. So, Uncharted games, first of all, just because they're like you come whenever you come to play an Uncharted game, you come to expect a flawless
Quality.
game quality. Exactly. It's like when you go to see there's certain directors out there, right, that they put out a movie and you're like, okay, this is probably gonna be like instantly an Oscar consideration. That's how I feel about all the Uncharted games. These games come from Naughty Dog. Like at the time when these would come out, like you instantly expect, like you're saying, this quality of a game. And yet again, there's clearly an Uncharted formula. There's it's it People might say, oh, they're just repeating success, they're making the same game over and over. I disagree with that. I think that because they mix storytelling with solid gameplay, you don't feel like you're playing the same thing. I think the only issue I ever have with the games is sometimes that they're a little bit long. But that's not exclusive to this game. There's a lot of games out there that have that problem. But to know that I want to stick with it so well because I'm so attached to Nathan Drake and his game, his story, because the game is executed so well, I want to uncover these treasures. I want to discover and figure out these maps and figure out these different puzzles that are going on throughout the game. And I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm going to get actually excited, and it's making my wheels turn in a good way. Mixed with this now next gen high definition experience, it is one of the most beautiful games. When I popped that in, I instantly felt like, wow, I'm playing on PS4. Like, there was no doubt about it. And so, yeah, if you have not played any of the Uncharted games, they're great. But when you play something like this one, especially, yeah, you're bound to have a good time. And it just literally is a good game. It's like
Yeah.
I'm saying, when these quality movies come out, you're like, okay, it's gonna be good. you play this, it is literally going to be a good game. There's nothing more I can say about it.
Yeah. That's another one that I just couldn't fit in my schedule, man. It was free on PS Plus, right?
Yeah,
Not too
yeah.
long ago. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they technically dropped all of them. They had the
The
Nathan Drake
collection.
collection and they had Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
So you should have all the Uncharted games now if you were a PS Plus holder. Anybody that's had it for the last
Just
few months.
yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Uncharted is like it's like a Nolan movie. Like
Right,
do you
that's a good
expect it?
example.
Yeah. You expect to be blown away. So
I mean, I've had people message me that literally saying, "I will buy a PS5 if there's an Uncharted game announced at launch." That's a testament to
yeah.
how well that franchise is that it would move consoles. So
Yep.
it's one of the staples of PlayStation, the exclusives. That's really special there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nice. Uh, next game I have is a very recent one. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Had to be there.
Again, yeah, again, one of those games that talk about blowing your socks off, because this game, I expected it to be much slower than it really is, and it's really good. It's real, and I haven't gone back and done the multiplayer because I heard it's great. That game is good. So I think it really elevate because I know everyone whenever there's someone mentioning an open world game, all you hear is GTA and The Witcher, right? It's the two games that everyone goes, oh yeah, GTA and The Witcher, and they're like the best, and nothing can be better. But I think that Ghost of Tsushima elevates open world games to like the next level. And it's because not because of its interactivity and all this stuff. It's just about it's because how alive the world feels. Because you can play GTA, you're going around the city. A city's a city. Um, there's no cities in Ghost of Tsushima. There's just small villages peppered around an island full of nature, and it's just amazing, dude. Again, the sound, the music on this game, fantastic. Um, it really shugs on a PS4. We've talked about it. If you are looking to play this game and are going into a PS5, they've already confirmed they have a 60 FPS mode. Yeah, man, because it's probably worth it to play on PS5. Um, yeah, I think it's it even the characters in the game, right? Because it's really it's real. Like it really feels grounded and real. The characters, I mean, you do crazy like ninja stuff, right? But that's besides the point. When the characters are so grounded, the I think the Jin Sakai as the protagonist is as a flawed hero, or flawed anti-hero. It's just really well done, and the characters around him. The uncle Yuna and all this other characters that move the story forward with you. Um, it's really good. It's really good. Attention to detail is just exquisite in this game. It's just, oh man, it's phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. So I'm really looking forward to what Sucker Punch is gonna do after this, because this is like gotta bring it on.
Yeah, it's pretty confirmed that they're working on their next one in the franchise. I think one of the coolest things coming out of the news from this game, all those the positive things you've said about it, positive things many people I've said about it, that just makes me want to play it even more. So I'll definitely try it on next gen. But
Yep.
one of the really cool things that always stuck out to me is the authenticity to the culture. It's so
Yes.
incredible because like
Yes.
you have people joking that like the Yakuza didn't make this. Like this is just that authentic.
The friggin' like I remember that the E3 that we did the live stream. Of
Yeah.
course you do. Uh, I, and I remember people criticizing the flute guy. Remember when they did the Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima thing? Um, and we're above complaining about that stuff. It's whatever. Um, I think this game's authenticity, it's nothing like this has ever been done. Like this is the most authentic game that's been done about anything. Like we got the Assassin's Creed games that have come out, and yes, they do have some authenticity, but I
But
think
not.
that this, yeah, but not at this level. This is like
Yeah.
really, really detailed stuff. So
That's what makes me excited to play
kudos
it.
to that. Yeah, that's the game that that's the Assassin's Creed game that everyone's been wanting, and Ubisoft never made, and Sucker Punch
Wow.
did it.
Wow.
Yeah. So next one, sir.
Super. Super. Next one. Um. All right. So, you want to talk about Metal Gear Solid, sir?
Of
Um.
course I do.
I think we need to get into Metal Gear Solid: Phantom Pain because you and I both had that on our list. That was one of those games that also was free. It's also free on PS Plus, so you guys,
It's like,
no excuses. You gotta have played that thing.
hey, you know what? Send us an email. We'll send you a copy. Seriously, send
Dude,
us
they
it
had that on sale for like, was it like $6 the other day or
on
something?
PS Plus. Yeah, but here you go. There's it's Metal
Free.
Gear Solid 5, the complete edition includes Ground Zeroes. Seriously, send an email to nolotime@gmail.com with a question or comment, anything. If you're in the continental U.S., I will ship this to you. How's that?
You will get the free game. Be the first to ask or be the first to say something nice, and you'll get it.
There you go.
So, yeah, I love it, man. No, I mean it in general. I was never in depth drawn into the Metal Gear series. Not because I didn't think it was good. It just was one of those things I just never made time to play. And this was the one that I jumped into. This was it, and I have zero regrets because it was one of those games that you instantly realize, oh, I'm in for a good one. Like you're playing this and you start talking about it. You start telling people, oh man, you checked out this new Metal Gear game because it was genuinely a generational game that's going to be remembered as
Yeah.
you would say Obed the best Metal Gear. I mean, it's up there.
Gameplay wise, it is.
Yeah,
Story wise is not, but
right.
gameplay wise is it definitely is. Um, I think the Kojima's approach to this game. I can mention Death Stranding because Death Stranding it's honorable mention to Death Stranding because Death Stranding is real good, right? Um, I think what really separates MGS5 from everything else that you can play out there is that at the end of the day, Hideo Kojima was shooting for you to be Big Boss. And this game's story is really thin because the story of this game is you doing crap around the map. That's your story. That's the story of the game. Like, you know what? There's a bunch of stuff that really stood out to me from this game, especially when you finish the game, right, and you get the twist ending and whatnot, and then you get a series of tapes that basically explain what's going on. That's all great because it was all done very well, and and, again, top notch voice acting and all that. So it's fantastic. But um, the one thing that I have never been able to like even forget 1 second is one of the middle chapters in Africa when you go down to the mining area or the mining camp, um, and you find the kids that are in the cage, and you free the kids. The kids thinks that they think that you're gonna kill them, and you free the kids. You take the kids out. There's one kid that can't walk. You have to carry the little kid, and you have to like basically tell them to stop and wait to avoid the guards, or wait here. You get to take care of the guards. Keep going. All I remember is the end of this mission when I am not too far away from the landing zone. I call my chopper in to come pick us up. Right at the end, when I get to the landing zone, I get spotted with all the kids. The guards start shooting. It goes crazy. Here comes the shopper blasting Final Countdown from the band Europe. And here I am just throwing smoke grenades, getting the kids in the shopper, using grenades, getting guards off, picking the guards off, telling the kids to get down, putting them in the chopper, me getting in the chopper, and riding away with the Final Countdown blasting. To me, it is. I made the story, right? That's a story for me to tell. The game gave me a story, but I made my own. Like, that was my experience with it, and that was, to me, high point. It's really good, really, really good.
Well said, sir. Because, yeah, hearing you share that story, man. Like, I can only imagine that being in the room, like that kind of reaction. I mean, everyone has the story out of that scene.
Yeah,
But like
exactly.
you're saying, it's personal to you because it's an amazing experience. You
Yeah.
can watch that, but when you actually are experiencing it, it's raw.
Dude, I was so excited when I finished that mission that I tried to save the video, and I did it wrong and I didn't save it. Because I tried to save it because I was really excited. I mean, it was a movie, dude. It's like just throwing grenades. I ran out of grenades, and I remember that I had smoke grenades in my gun attachment, so I started using those, and then ran out. More guards came in. It was nuts. It was so good, and it's a story that you created for yourself, and it's why I love that game.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I think you just sold more copies of that game, sir.
Yeah, there's a free one.
Just moved it.
No load time. No load time at gmail.com. Question, comment, anything that you want to say. If you want a copy of Metal Gear Solid 5, the complete experience for PS4, just let us know, and we'll if you live in the continental US, I'll ship it. I don't care. So
there you go. There you go, guys. You got games. Okay, so let's talk about. I want to actually just jump into these two honorable mentions. I know one of them is something that you also have on your list, and that's going to be Battlefront 2. So EA put out this game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, 2017, and it was one of the most controversial launches. Obed's hugging it, and sharing the love.
I love Battlefront 2 so much.
Angering the man babies.
Angering the man babies. I love this game so much, man.
It's a very good game, and so that's just it. Like, okay, it comes out at launch, and the negative press surrounding it was completely fair, because the game that we got at launch is not the game that we have now.
No, absolutely not.
They completely different. Changed the entire system of the game. You had to rely upon these loot boxes. You had to rely upon these purchases. It was a very dangerous game because
it's a fine line.
You couldn't win fairly.
Yeah,
that's just it. It was a pay to win situation, and that was a very dangerous form. But they completely changed the architecture of how you play, and because of that, we have now the game that Obed is over here hugging because it's just that good.
I think I played this game for like 200 hours or something. It's ridiculous. I mean, we can talk about the single player, right? Because single player
campaign is just fine. Yeah,
it's fine, and it's actually, you get some lore, you get some First Order lore, and you get some Palpatine lore that kind of connects to Rise of Skywalker.
And may even eventually connect it to Mandalorian. I don't know, dude.
very well can, because the this takes place around that same time, right?
Exactly.
It's yeah, man.
It's so for a Star Wars fan, it does you well from the lore and from the worlds that they put you in. They do you right. In fact, what's really cool about this game is that when you do get out of the single player campaign and you get into the multiplayer, you're able to experience all of Star Wars. Like you're able to experience the prequel stuff, man, the stuff that the original trilogy, like it
Everything.
is they pull it all together. They held nothing back. I mean, being able to run around as Darth Maul, like in a multiplayer, shooter. Oh
And
man,
fight against Ray. Yeah, it's bananas.
it's
It's
bananas.
so good. Um, it's a game that I still actively play. Like,
There's people online.
oh, it's yeah, there's definitely tons of people online. Every week it's you go in and there's a full room on Team Deathmatch, and I really didn't play a lot of the other like conquest modes. I played it here and there, but just Deathmatch to me was Team Deathmatch was the high point, because it's like small maps, 8 versus 8. It was great, and everyone's running around and getting each other and all and whatnot. So it's just so good. Star Wars
Fantastic.
Battlefront 2. It is very good. I think the game got like next level when they released the clone stuff, like all the clone the different clone armor from like the Clone Wars. That's when it really got next level. You're gonna be the 501st or the elite, or the elite Coruscant Guard or whatever. It's so good.
They didn't hold back. They didn't.
No,
They got deep into it. And that's something that
yeah.
wherever part of Star Wars that you identify with, you can find in this game.
Yeah, I mean, rumor is that after the next Battlefield comes out, they're gonna do a next gen Battlefront. Like Dice is already working on it, so
And they've learned.
yeah,
They've learned. They
yep.
were crucified publicly in front of everyone for their decisions. That
That game's
other
the
game, other games changed their format because of this game.
that game's the comeback story of this generation.
Yes,
That's
yes,
a comeback story. Last gen, the comeback story was Final Fantasy 14, when they had to like basically destroy the entire world and reboot it. But Battlefront 2 is the comeback hit of this gen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And to carry on with the Star Wars talk here, just briefly, Jedi Fallen Order
Yeah.
recently came out, obviously just last year, and it was one of those games that I think when people heard about, okay, we yes, we did have a campaign. People really wanted a campaign in Battlefront 2, because we didn't have any campaign in Battlefront 1. They wanted a story mode. People were seemed to be okay with what they got. It was a very basic, quick, and easy to get through single player game on Battlefront 2. But what we got with Jedi Fallen Order is what I think a lot of Star Wars fans were waiting for, to have an actual Star Wars campaign on next gen, or
Yep.
at the time. Having this experience where you actually are the Jedi in this new environment, and this is the game that delivered to us. It took us literally till 2019 to get it, but we got it, and what we got was also a really good game. I
Yeah.
don't think the game is one of those games that's like, oh my goodness, like it's revolutionary. But as a Star Wars game, I think it's a very very good game. It's a very very fun game. It's a good game in general, but I
Yep.
think as a Star Wars game is where it's special. I personally, Obed, like it more than Battlefront 2, but that's just because of the Force and Jedi stuff.
So I'm gonna make a really bold statement here.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm gonna say something so bold, yes, so brave, or whatever. Well, however it goes. Um, yeah, I love Battlefront 2. No secret, right? I know that a lot of people love the old LucasArts games, and especially the BioWare collaboration with Knights of the Old Republic. A lot of people do. I think the Jedi Fallen Order is the best Star Wars game ever.
Wow. Wow.
Having played the old PC stuff, um, been through basically all the Star Wars games, that's probably the best Star Wars game ever. As a
So you've played Old Republic?
No.
No. Okay. Because that's my thing. Because I haven't played it. Everyone just screams of it, and it's I don't know, dude.
It never spoke to me. Not even back in the day. I never owned an Xbox back in the day, and the game's available on PC and whatnot, but I just don't feel like I need to play it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's totally fair. Totally fair. Like for what I've personally experienced, yeah, it's easy for me to point the Jedi Fallen Order as my Star Wars game of choice. But there's a lot more Star Wars play, and I look forward to the future.
And you know what? That game has a lot of like very good lore that it's non-canon anymore. But even with that, right? I haven't played the game, but I am making the statement, my personal statement, that I think Fallen Order is the best Star Wars game ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to say only because of how much I love Force Unleashed. I don't think that game holds up the way that
okay.
like Fallen Order maybe will.
Never played 2. Yeah,
I love the first and the second one. I just love those games.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say that off the top of my head, but totally fair. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order is a good game.
Yeah. Yep. It's really good. Joe, no secret again. Persona 5. I'm probably gonna get the Royal version because I really want to play through it and see what they added. Not gonna spend too much time on it because I talked about it at nauseum when No Lot Time started. and I love this game. Love the characters. Absolutely phenomenal music. Really good revelation at the end. Again, being a Persona game. So, just the story, how it progressed, it flowed very natural. The graphics were great because you get that anime kind of look and how everything looked in the world. I think they did a fantastic job and it really feels alive. I personally think that Persona 4 is a better game and has a better story. But the world building that this game does is definitely better. It being 2 generations apart from Persona 4. Persona 4 was a PS2 game. So just because of the world building, the characters are good. Interesting twist. Not as good as the one on P4 again, but it's still a really good twist. When again, I'm not. Kind of like it's already kind of like a spoiler, but the Satan saves Christmas thing. It's pretty interesting and it's really well done. So, yeah, like it, love it, great game.
I think is that on also the PS Plus
It is.
collection? Yeah,
It
it's
is
one of those on there.
Yep,
So it's another opportunity for people to play if they didn't play it on this last gen.
Absolutely. And I do highly recommend it. I recommend everyone to play a Persona game because it's a game that that gives you a window, especially if you live in the U.S. And you're interested in gaming and opening up your I'd say your gaming experience. The game is very Japanese, and it really does open a window to Japanese culture. So not only you're playing for a good story, right? You're actually learning about Japanese culture and what the routine of a Japanese student is, and what are their holidays and what do they celebrate in their holidays. All this stuff. It's you play a game and you learn. I mean, and get a good story. You learn about different countries' culture and have a good time. It's really good. So
well said. Let's talk about Final Fantasy 15, man. Let's do it.
Another one I'm gonna give a hug to.
He's in love with this game.
Yes.
No, I think that's the thing about this. This is another one of those games that I personally have not seen one person say this is subpar. Like Obed, I don't know if you know
I
people out there like that,
I have because I've dived into fandom.
deep
Yeah.
fandom.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people felt so here's
okay,
most of the people that I heard about it, right, were like, oh yeah, I started playing it, stopped playing it, and then like 2 years later went back to it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is really good, and then oh yeah, that ending broke me, and why am I crying? And it's that seemed to be consensus, like Battlefront. It is a very different game now.
I think it's safe to say the game is ambitious and it's precocious.
Get
It
too
is
ambitious
ahead
for
of
its own
its
good. Yeah.
it's ahead of its time in its regard that it's trying to accomplish something that you wouldn't immediately appreciate um or expect. Like it was not stereotypical to the last few Final Fantasies. It's very much a Final Fantasy game. It's not trying to revolutionize the franchise, but it also gave you a very, like you're saying, a very emotional a roller coaster of a game where by the time you're at the end, like you're saying, you are emotionally, moved.
Best villain in Final Fantasy history.
Yeah.
Like, I love Sephiroth. Well, I take it back because we'll talk about it. You know what? We'll skip it and we'll talk about it next. But yeah, um, uh, not gonna go into spoilers because this is a game that I really want everyone to experience. But the villain in this game is so good, especially now that you have, the Royal Edition where you get more story and you have this other add-ons that gives you more story. Um, I think that this game is fantastic. This game, like what you said, is stands true. The game is it was too ambitious for its own good. Um, and unfortunately, this game can never be what it was meant to be. Um, but even with that, what we got is an absolutely phenomenal experience. The Choco Bros are great. Uh, all the mechanics on this game are sound. The game looks fantastic. Um, I really love this game. I get emotional talking about it because I played it for like 200 hours, like 175 hours or something like that.
Between that and Battlefront, you probably those are probably like
Bro,
two games of the generation that you spent maybe the most amount of time on.
probably.
As I can think of. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because even Final Fantasy 15, like I went back and did started doing the daily hunts. I would go out and
Wow.
just pop it in, do the hunt, and then play Battlefront 2.
Is it loaded onto your hard drive right now on your PS4?
Oh, like installed?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is like 150 gigs or something. It is, yeah.
He's ready to go,
It's
guys.
installed. Well, no, not the
Wow.
game. I mean, it's installed,
Right.
the discs are here. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
He's ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yep. But I mean, and we'll segue into Final Fantasy VII remake
Yep.
because I mean that's a perfect segue. The reason that I called the villain of Final Fantasy 15 the best villain ever, because he was, and I know that again everyone loves Sephiroth from Final Fantasy 7, but what they did to Sephiroth in this game just takes it up just they take Sephiroth and they really, really make it, yeah, because they really gave him, I you would say motives, right? Because he had motives in Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it's a long, long story, um, but on the remake, um, he just becomes much more of a antagonist that he wasn't back then. and I love it. This game is really good too, man. This game is so good. Not as long as 15, of course, but I still played this game for 110 hours.
Wow.
So,
that's,
going,
that's plenty.
I did two full playthroughs. I finished all the challenges. I'm almost got the platinum, but I just don't want to do that Tifa mini game with the pull-ups. It's just I don't have the patience for it. So I can live without the platinum. I'm good.
Wow,
Um,
so close of it.
yeah, I'm only missing like 3 trophies, man. It sucks, but I'm good. But yeah, just going back and watching the gang again, and it's so good. It's so good, man. And everyone is so good, and all these characters are so good, and the world building they did, because there's no world building on seven for the original seven. You're in Midgar for 6 hours, and then you're out in the wild doing stuff. This game entirely takes place in Midgard, and what they did is just they build the world. Like there's like like now you really understand what the really nefarious stuff that Shinra is doing in the background, and all this stuff that's really palpable now, and it's fantastic. Yeah, highly recommend. It's really good. Like the game, like just a standard playthrough is like 42 hours. So it's not really that long, but if you go back and do everything, it's like 110, 120. It's good.
Very good. Very
Yep.
good.
Yep.
I've got the last one on my list, sir. That's gonna be Spider-Man PS4.
Okay.
I saved that for the end. Not because the order that I went through, first of all, was not like, oh, least to best or anything like that. Like I just
Yeah,
went
I'm random too.
in a order, but not a specific order by any means.
Yep.
Um, but this game is probably my personal favorite game of the generation, in the sense that, like you were talking about, like having stories and having experiences when you play a game. This is the one that did it for me. And it's not because it's this super advanced game. You can be the hardcore guy, you can be little Billy and play this game and have a pure smile on your face, fall in love with this game, fall in love with the gameplay. It's something that, like, you just want to keep going back to New York City. You want to keep going back to being Spider-Man. There's endless and endless amounts of things going on. They just continue as you continue to go through the campaign. They add side missions. It's not like you can just knock them off easy. Just the world continues to add on these different things that are just fantastic. There's such a great it's a great expansion to the Spider-Man universe. It's not like an origin story. We already know who the Spider-Man is. He's been Spider-Man already. You start adding in more obscure stuff, Silver Sable, and you bring in these other characters that the Spider-Man fans and the Marvel fans are very much aware of, and the casuals that only watch the movies, may not be as aware of, and they do things that also parallel the real world. Fisk Tower is representative of another guy's tower. There's a lot of different things in there that make you, just like how Spider-Man always has been, about this great power comes great responsibility. These deeply moral, these deeply personal decisions that he has to make. You are now in his shoes, having to make these decisions throughout the game, and it's because of it that you become so entrenched with this amazing, incredible experience. This is the kind of experiences that people talk about with games like The Last of Us that I personally didn't include in my list. I don't think you probably included in your list either, because neither of us played Last of
Oh,
Us
we have
2.
played it. Yeah.
And it's like, when I hear people talk about those games, I hear people talk about like this deeply moving experience when they play these games. There's other games you mentioned already, Obed, that did that for you already, and I know there's more you're going to about to talk about, but
Yep.
this is one of those for me that was deeply just so rich and so fulfilling, And I'm so glad that they're continuing on with Spider-Man and with Miles Morales for the next gen. That is such a great setup for the future, for sure, of generations of gaming.
Nice. Another one that I have it on my schedule. I was gonna play it this fall.
Amazing.
I'll reschedule that, Joel. I'll take a rain check on that one, but I'll play it eventually.
I'm sure.
I'll play it eventually. So, um, nice. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I've heard really good things. So, cool. I got 4 left. I'm gonna try and plow through
Go
because
for it, Mister.
we're getting a little late here. But I got a war. It's what else is there to say? It it's I really love that we have a father son game, and I don't have a son, I have a daughter, but still, I have a child. Um, really really good. Um, Absolutely beautiful game. Graphics are excellent. Combat is phenomenal. Sound design top notch. From a technical level, this game is amazing. But to me, what did it is the father son dynamic and the unexpected twists and turns that they had in their journey and the twist ending. So, um, highly recommend that everyone. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, dude, because it's like you gotta play God of War. It's one
That
of those games.
that's one of those on my list to play it on PS5. I know they confirmed the frame rate for it running on 60, if I'm not mistaken, on
Yeah,
PS5.
it
So I'm
must look
excited to see
so
how that
smooth,
looks.
man.
It's gonna be beautiful.
So smooth.
Eh,
Those Valkyrie fights were so hard. And then that Valkyrie Queen was like extremely hard. I beat it. I beat her, the Valkyrie wife, the Valkyrie Queen. Almost slipped a spoiler there.
Very
Um,
nice, very nice.
um,
Good catch.
yeah, yeah.
But it's fair to say also that like you and I both were not God of War
Mm-mm.
people prior to this. I did play God of War on PS3. Um,
Played the first one only.
yeah, I just did not. It was I think it was on PS Plus or something along those lines. I was like, oh sure,
Yeah.
and did not tickle my fancy. But that's good to hear when I hear someone like you speak so well of this. This is for sure gotta be one of those that I'll jump back into as well.
Yep. Another one. Horizon Zero Dawn. Probably the best looking game this generation, in my opinion. Probably the game with the best graphics. Some of the best art design that I've ever seen. Some of the best creature designs that I've ever seen on anything. Hollywood or any anime or any type of consumable media. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this game, uh, also another game that had a fantastic story underneath this game's an onion because it has sci-fi layers, it has fantasy layers, and you start thinking, is this a fantasy game? Is this a sci-fi game? Is this Earth? And then you keep peeling the onion, right? And then oh man, it's really good, really really good. Again, very well done. Guerrilla Games, the first thing they've done that's not a first-person shooter, and they freaking nailed it, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I wonder, just out of curiosity, how many people got PS4 Pros because of this game. Like
it,
it's one of those
it
games
was
that
a
was. It
seller.
seems also very ahead of its time. It moved a newer console.
Yep, yep, yep.
That one and God of War before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this one came out a year before God of War, so
Right.
yep. Um, yeah, this was the game that to sell PS4 Pros for sure, because you get the upscaling, better frame rate and whatnot. So uh, I really want to see this game elevated. Like I want, uh, I didn't get a Pro, but I really want to see what the next part two is probably going to be
Yeah.
phenomenal and it's going to look amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So that's exciting. Uh, next one that I have, I'm gonna do like you, leave my one for the end. But Devil May Cry 5. It's so much fun, man.
DMC.
AMC, like out of all those games, right? Those games are great, and they're all phenomenal. This game is fun, like Streets of Rage 3, right? It has that same thing, that it's like, so Streets of Rage 3 is my Pizza Hut pepperoni pan pizza. This is my double Whopper with cheese. Because it's like, it's comfort.
I love the food comparisons.
It's comfort food. It's like, you know what? This is a kind of like a crappy burger, but it just takes me back. Just takes me back to a time, and it was like that. But not only that, right? It's like Burger King actually made the burger really good. Like, they elevated that burger. They gave you that burger with, you know, a nice side of fries, and an ice cold soda. That's what this game is to me, man. It's just so much fun. The characters are fantastic, and you know, the story's silly, but you know what? It's a story about family, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. You know, very likable characters, very funny characters, very unexpected. You know, very likable characters too, like V. Spoilers. You know, that was spoiled on the latest trailer for the special edition, which, by the way, like, I was gonna buy that PS5, right? And the DMC5 special edition was gonna be my day one, and that and Miles.
Wow.
That was gonna be it. So, because I really wanted to play this game again. Wow. I have it, so I can play it again. But I'll probably save it for ray tracing and 4K. So we'll see how that looks.
Very nice.
But yeah, again, comfort food for me. So good. Last game, I think you know what it is, man.
Here.
Yep.
Here. I could have predicted this, man. He's hugging it. He's loving it.
I don't want to hug it, because I don't want it to hurt my feelings.
Oh man.
Man, this game it's profound. Like, this is like next level stuff. You know, there's games like I mentioned, DMC5 being fun, and Battlefront 2, and all this other games here that are fantastic. I'm getting emotional talking about it, dude. But Nier Automata, it's a profound experience. Like, this is it's man, I don't have words. I can't describe it. I can't describe it. Crap. But I think this is the closest thing to like a religious experience without being in church, to be honest with you. Like, that's the way I would put it. You know, as a former churchgoer myself, I would say that. Because it speaks to a profound level. It's an analysis on what it is to be alive, and the game opens up with a you know, a very profound existential quote, you know, about God, and if we're ever going to get the chance to meet God, and if we get that chance, will we try to kill him? And that it's just, and then you, again, this is again an onion. This is so Horizon was an onion, right? This is very similar, but not like Horizon, because it's an intellectual existential onion. Horizon is a story onion. This is like you discover stuff about yourself playing this game. Like this game gives you blanks, right? It literally, Joel, gives you like there's a paragraph of text. A character is talking to you through a machine, and you get blanks, and you fill the blanks out with your mind, right? With what you have on your head, right?
That's crazy, man.
It's just like what okay, this blanks is like, is this what you're trying to say? But that no, when you realize what this character was trying to say, and it was like, oh my, I'm a terrible person. And
Wow.
you just realize it, dude. It's like, this made me feel terrible. It's whew, Joel. And then this it's basically you get humanity destroyed, like both figuratively and, spoiler alert, literally. But the game at the end just restores faith on humanity, and that is the central theme of the game, is to never lose hope in strangers. That's what the game is.
Wow.
That's what the game is trying to tell you at the end. Very sublime ending. And what I said about the onion is because this game has three storylines or three playthroughs. You do your first playthrough, and it's a standard action RPG. You do your second playthrough, and it is an action RPG, but from a different perspective. But what you didn't know is that this person got plugged into something else, so it got a story dump. And then the third playthrough is your conclusion slash everything goes wrong, God is dead kind of scenario, but not really. And it's really good.
Huh.
It's just, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because I really don't want to spoil it, and I want
You've done a
everyone.
very good job of dancing around it,
I want
though.
everyone to experience this game because it is such a deep experience that it just elevates video games into a next level art form, in my opinion. Um, I've seen there's a prequels coming out. The Near Gestalt is coming out next year. Um, I don't know how I feel about that. Because I know the story already. Because I finished this and I was like, what happened before? Because I want to know. Um, just to give you an idea, Near Gestalt is like 9,000 years before this game takes place. So, it's nuts. But
What year was this game released?
2017.
Yeah, it's like I know it wasn't that recent, but it wasn't that long ago
It was
either.
like
Okay.
February of 2017. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of good games that came out that year,
Yeah.
and it was one of those games that a lot of people I think had in their backlog. But
It
yeah, I
was
think that and
the
Persona came at the same time.
right around the same time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2017 because it came out in March 2017 because my DLC codes expire on 2027, so it's a 10-year
gotcha.
DLC thing. Which, by the way, about the DLC for this game, just because I wanted to keep throwing money at it, and I never played it.
That's funny.
Because like I need to support this project, and
That's funny, man.
I may, depending, I'm gonna wait for reviews on Gestalt because Platinum's not gonna do it. Platinum Games developed this one, Square Enix published, but I want to see how that does in reviews first, and then. Whew, bro, it's deep stuff. It's like reading that book, right? And you can like, I'm like next level stuff. Um, but that's it. It's our PlayStation games of the generation.
Right.
Let's be more specific about that.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
we had crossing over games. We had
yeah,
our Final Fantasy, or Batman, Assassin's Creed, those kind of ones you don't have to be only on one console to play. But regardless, we could have been here forever, man, with many different games to have talked about. But those games were games that were important to us, and we'll remember those experiences on last gen. And now we've look forward to the grand releaser of the next generation is here, and who knows? I think it won't be until 2022 that we actually start to taste, what the capabilities fully are. If Astro's Playroom is what you got to play to get a sense of the dual sense, I mean, that's just showing you that
probably Demon Souls,
we're
right?
early stages.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting year because
Yeah.
Xbox doesn't have anything next gen, and that seems to be consensus around all the reviews and everyone that's been playing Xbox for the last month. From the press, it's like, yeah, this is all great, right? Great hardware, great controller. Where the game's at, though, everyone's saying the same thing.
So tomorrow, I don't know if it's for both, but I believe it's PS5. The embargo lifts tomorrow.
For the review, yeah, because Xbox,
Reviews.
there was reviews today out.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see what kind of stuff gets out there. I mean, man, it's here.
It's here.
I mean, we've talked about for a long time. We had our first console reveal and on this thing and on our podcast, and
Yep.
here it is.
Good stuff. All right, bro. Take us out.
Yes, sir. Everyone, folks, thank you for watching, listening to our show. We'll make sure you stay with us, so make sure you stay subscribed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon Music. We're out there, guys. So look us up and make sure you follow No Load Time. Subscribe to it there. Also, make sure you're following us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. We appreciate you all. Make sure that you send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Even if you think, guess what? It's been a few days later. I've already listened to this episode. Someone probably already won. Just send us an email anyways. You never know. We'll be picking probably somebody to get that Metal Gear, a game that Obed was talking about earlier on, the collection earlier on in the show. So you might be the one to get it. Send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. Everyone, again, thank you so very much. And it is here, guys. This was a very special episode.
Yeah.
And it is here, guys. This time next week we're talking next gen will be here. So
yeah,
next
week
have fun.
Next week we'll probably get an unboxing from Joel, or he'll show
I'll
us.
already be unboxed.
Yeah, well,
I'll film it.
You better show me how big that console is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Again, thank you guys. Send an email to win the game. Everyone, stay safe. Thank you for tuning. We'll see you again next time.